Welcome friends. Part 2, that is extraction of the crude metal. It is majorly consisting of two things. One is conversion of ore into reducible form. That includes calcination, roasting, and roasting is of categories related to oxidative roasting and the sulfatizing roasting and the chlorinating roasting. Followed by reduction of ore to metal, that can be done by carbon followed by the carbon monoxides, or by metals as reducing agent, hydrogen or water gas as reducing agents, self reduction process, hydrometallurgy, amalgamation, and even electrolytic reduction can also be applied. These are the total things of the processes those are involved in the second part, that is conversion of ore to metal, including conversion of ore to reducible form and reducible form to reduced form. Yes, examples for each category. The first one, either carbon or the carbon monoxide based reduction is applied for the metals like magnesium, tin, lead, ferrous, cobalt, copper as well as the zinc. Second one, by using reduction with the metals, the less electropositive metal oxides like chromium, manganese, copper are reduced by using of more electropositive metals like lithium, sodium, potassium as well as aluminum. Third one, by hydrogen or the water gas. Generally the ferrous related oxides, copper oxides, silver oxides are reduced by the hydrogen or the water gas, and self reduction process is possible for the less electropositive metal ores like lead, copper as well as the mercury, and the hydrometallurgy is applicable for the less electropositive metal ores like silver as well as the iron. Amalgamation is applied for the silver, iron as well as the platinum, and electrolytic reduction is applicable for the highly electropositive metal ores. Those are electropositive metals like sodium related compounds, potassium related, magnesium, calcium related as well as aluminum related compounds are getting reduced by this particular technique. Now we will go one by one process, its corresponding definition, examples, and the chemical changes, features, and its application. In details, we will go from each one, that is calcination, followed by roasting, followed by all these techniques one by one. After dressing of the ore, the next is conversion of ore to easily reducible form. In that, the first method is calcination. In calcination, the word calcination comes from the calcite, whereas on heating of the calcium carbonate, one variety of crystalline form of this calcium carbonate is calcite. Calcite on heating it is converted to calcium oxide as well as the carbon dioxide. On behalf of this logic of heating below the boiling point is known with the name of a particular process is said to be the calcination process, and it is carried out in reverberatory furnace, and it involves strong heating of the ore either in absence or in limited quantity of the presence of oxygen below its melting point. As a result, what happens is whatever the moisture is present in the ore, that can be removed, the water of crystallization is removed, and ore becomes very porous in nature, and volatile organic materials are removed, and other impurities are also getting removed. Carbonate sources are converted to oxides followed by the carbon dioxide. Even hydroxides are converted to oxides followed by the water. Any combination of carbonates and hydroxides can be converted to oxide followed by water vapors followed by the carbon dioxide. These things generally occurring under calcination process. If you go for the examples, suppose bauxite Al2O3 2H2O and calcination, that is below the melting point of the bauxite, if you heat under strong conditions, it is converted to alumina followed by water in the form of vapor, it will be evaporated. Limonite, that is ferric oxide trihydrate, that on heating is converted to ferric oxide. Similarly, carbonate sources are converted to oxides and the carbon dioxide, zinc carbonate to zinc oxide and carbon dioxide. Whereas here dolomite, magnesium carbonate to calcium carbonate is converted to magnesium oxide to calcium oxide followed by carbon dioxide combination. Even malachite, a carbonate and the hydroxide ore combination, on calcination it is converted to calcium, that is copper oxide, followed by water as well as carbon dioxide. Thus, moisture is removed, volatile impurities are removed, organic volatile components can be getting removed, water of hydration is converted to oxides. Similarly, carbonates are converted to oxides. Carbonates and the hydroxides combination is also converted to oxides. Oxide is easily reducible form. The second method is roasting. It is executed either in reverberatory furnace or in the blast furnace. It involves strong heating of the ore below its melting point in presence of plenty of oxygen. It involves the chemical changes with the decomposition. Generally, it is applied for the sulfide ore, and the sulfide of S-2 is converted to undergoes oxidation and is converted either to sulfur dioxide or to sulfur trioxide, and it is expelled from the ore system. Whereas on behalf of the easiness of understanding, this particular roasting is divided into three categories. One is oxidative roasting, second one is sulfatizing roasting, and third one is chlorinating roasting. Yes, oxidative roasting, it is the most common type of roasting process, whereas it is used to remove the volatile impurities like the phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, as well as the especially sulfur present in the ore, and these are removed in the form of their corresponding volatile oxides. Not only the impurities, the sulfide ore is also generally converted to the oxide ore by this oxidative roasting process. It is applied for the lead, ferrous, copper, nickel, and the zinc sulfides, and ore is converted to corresponding oxides, and sulfur is removed in the form of either sulfur dioxide or the sulfur trioxide. Suppose if it is present in the form of phosphide, arsenic, antimony, sulfides, especially sulfide ore in association with phosphorus impurities, arsenic impurities, antimony impurities, these are all are converted to corresponding pentoxides or the trioxides, which are volatile in nature, and they can be getting evaporated. Suppose lead sulfide is there. This lead sulfide on heating in presence of oxygen, that lead sulfide is converted to lead oxide, undergoes oxidation, and sulfur also undergoes oxidation to sulfur dioxide formation. Thus oxygen undergoes reduction, hence it is a redox reaction. Similarly, ferrous sulfide is converted to ferrous oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. Nickel sulfide is converted to nickel oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. And the copper glans, copper sulfide is converted to copper oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. Zinc sulfide is converted to zinc oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. Even the mixture of sulfides, that is iron pyrites, that is combination of CuFeS2, copper sulfide followed by ferrous sulfide combination. This on heating in presence of oxygen below its melting point, this copper is converted to copper oxide, ferrous is converted to ferrous oxide, whereas sulfur is converted to sulfur dioxide. A special case of oxidative roasting in case of the lead, copper, as well as mercury sulfides. Here they undergoes partial oxidation and they forms the corresponding oxides. These oxides once again recombines with the sulfide of the original ore, and they participates in chemical formation, chemical transformation, and that leads to the formation of metal followed by the sulfur dioxide formation. Suppose lead sulfide is there. Lead sulfide under normal conditions it is converted to lead oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. This formed lead oxide once again recombines with the lead sulfide and it is converted to lead followed by sulfur dioxide. Similarly, copper sulfide, copper glands on reaction with oxygen, copper oxide formation takes place. This copper oxide once again on combination with copper sulfide ore leads to the formation of copper followed by sulfur dioxide. Similarly, HgSc is converted to HgO, that is mercuric oxide followed by sulfur dioxide. This mercuric sulfide once again recombines with the mercuric oxide leads to the formation of mercury plus sulfur dioxide. Thus, this process in which metal sulfide is converted to metal oxide and metal oxide reduces the metal sulfide, this process is said to be the auto reduction process. Hence, in case of normal roasting related oxidation process, special examples like lead, copper, as well as mercury, which are less electropositive metals, they can participate in auto reduction process also. Second one is sulfatizing roasting. It is a part of normal oxidative roasting, whereas oxidative roasting is occurred at high temperature. Whereas if temperature is low, if moderate temperature is applied, under these conditions what happens is some portion of the sulfide ore undergoes oxidation to oxide followed by sulfur dioxide, and some other portion of the sulfide ore on reaction with oxygen as being the temperature is low, it forms the corresponding sulfate. Such a process is said to be the sulfatization roasting process. When oxidative roasting is done at moderate temperature, then some part of sulfide is converted to oxide and the another portion is converted to sulfate. Suppose in roasting of galena at moderate temperatures in presence of plenty of oxygen, lead sulfide is converted to lead oxide, sulfur dioxide followed by lead sulfate. Zinc sulfide is converted to zinc oxide, sulfur dioxide followed by zinc sulfate. And the copper sulfide is converted to copper oxide, sulfur dioxide followed by copper sulfate. Ferrous sulfide is converted to ferrous oxide, ferrous sulfate followed by sulfur dioxide. These are said to be the sulfatizing of roasting process. The last variety of the roasting process is chlorinating roasting, whereas certain ores are there, but if the ore is converted to oxide, the reduction of this oxide to the ore becomes very difficult. In such cases, oxide ore preparation is not correct, not proper, hence it has prepared in the form of their corresponding halides. It is their nature, from their halides only the reduction becomes very easy. In such cases, the ore is converted to its corresponding chlorides and that process is said to be the chlorinating roasting. It is generally applicable for titanium as well as the silver. Titanium carbide on reaction with chlorine, it is converted to titanium tetrachloride followed by carbon tetrachloride. Whereas silver sulfide on reaction with sodium chloride, double displacement reaction takes place and it is converted as silver chloride followed by sodium sulfide. This is roasting process in which chlorination is occurring, hence it is said to be chlorinating roasting. The second half of the part 2, that is conversion of reducible form of the ore to the ore situation. That process is reduction process, that is conversion of reducible form of ore to the metal. Whereas here on behalf of the different varieties of reduction processes involved in this, these are segregated into sections like chemical reduction. Second one is self reduction. Third one is hydrometallurgical reduction. Fourth one is electrolytic reduction, and the last one is amalgamation followed by the reduction process. Whereas chemical reduction includes reduction by carbon and the carbon compounds, and second one is by metals, and third one is by hydrogen or the water gas. Whereas the first one, that is reduction by carbon or the carbon compounds, especially carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide, this particular process is known as smelting process. Smelting is reduction process, reducible form of ore is converted to the metal situation, but whereas here chemical reactions takes place, in this carbon is generally used as reducing agent, along with carbon sometimes carbon in association with carbon compounds like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide can be present, and this particular process is known as smelting. Yes, in the reduction, the first process is smelting process, whereas smelting, the process of extraction of metal in the fused state is known as smelting, whereas it is carried out in the blast furnace where it requires high temperature. During the smelting, ore is heated with a suitable reducing agent. As a result of smelting, what happens is some infusible impurities which are present in the ore are removed from the molten metal by adding a suitable substance known as flux. Thus here what happens is, though we made the ore dressed, though we made the ore concentration beneficiation, it is having some other impurities. Certain impurities present in the ore are present in such a way that those are having higher melting points. Those are having higher melting points compared to the metal. So they never be converted to the molten state. But such kind of nature containing infusible impurities, whichever are present in quantities, in minor quantities as impurities along with the ore, these are converted to the fusible situation by adding some foreign material which is having opposite nature to that of impurities. After addition of this one, what happens is the melting point of the impurities decreases. As a result, they will be converted to the fused situation, that is liquid situation. They are having lower density, hence they will come to the top, and they are immiscible, so therefore over the liquid layer of the ore they are present on the surface of this one in the form of another minor layer, and they can be removed easily. Thus we can remove the non-fusible impurities present in the ore with the help of this smelting process. Hence smelting requires higher temperature. Higher temperature is generally possible at the blast furnace. Thus smelting is conducted in the blast furnace by using some foreign materials in the form of reagents are added. This material is said to be the flux. This flux will react with the gangue material, otherwise the matrix material, which is infusible present in the ore, and reduces its melting point and converts that one to the easy liquid state. Thus impurities is converted to the fused situation, and it is having lower density. It comes to the top over the liquid surface of the metal, and it is present in the form of a small minor immiscible layer, and it can be removed easily. Thus here once again we are explaining the things. Thus what happens is, in some ores after dressing also some infusible impurities are present which are having higher melting points, and they are maybe by their nature may having acidic nature, like silicon dioxide, phosphorus pentoxides can be present, and basic nature containing calcium oxide, calcium carbonate, magnesium oxide, metal oxides, ferrous oxide can be present, and these are non-metal oxides. Whereas for these impurities, for removal we have only one process, that is smelting process. To remove these suitable flux, a foreign material is added, and to oxidize the ore during the smelting process. Whereas the flux combines with the impurity and forms a fusible low melting point containing non-miscible liquid layer known as slag, and this can be removed easily. Yes, during this smelting process, if the ore, oxide ore, is having impurities like acidic nature containing impurities like silicon dioxide or phosphorus pentoxide, or basic nature containing unremovable non-fusible impurities like calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, magnesium oxide, and the ferrous oxide, if any are present, for this particular acidic impurities, basic nature containing foreign material flux is added like calcium oxide. Whereas when the flux is added, it combines with the impurities and participates in chemical combination, and that leads to the formation of a new compound that is fusible and having lower melting point. That's what it is, fusible, and it is having lower density, appears at the surface of the metal oxide present in the liquid state, and moreover here that can be removed easily because it is immiscible. Like this silicon dioxide impurity is there, that on reaction with calcium oxide, calcium silicate, phosphorus pentoxide, calcium phosphate formation takes place. Similarly, if these are the impurities on reaction with the corresponding flux, calcium silicate, magnesium silicate, ferrous silicate formation takes place, and this forms the fusible, this is known as slag, and the slag is fusible, low density, low miscibility, otherwise non-miscibility, hence present as the surface of the metal oxide, otherwise the metal present in the fused state, because this is conducted at lower temperature, and reducing agents can also be present and can be removed easily. And this particular whole process is a part of a reaction occurring in the blast furnace in the presence of reducing agents also. Hence this smelting is occurred at the high temperature. Fused situation has to be created for the impurities, because removal of impurities is not easy. If impurities are converted to fusible situation having lower density and the having non-miscibility nature, for those which are not easily removable can be done under this process known as smelting process. Yes, we came to the flux, hence we have a brief discussion related to the fluxes also. If material is acidic in nature, impurity is acidic in nature, we are using basic nature containing fluxes. If impurities are basic in nature, then opposite nature, acidic nature containing foreign materials, fluxes are used to reduce the melting point. Similarly, there are certain other materials which are not having any kind of either acidic or the basic nature, but are acting as the fluxes. They reduces the melting point of the system. Such kind of fluxes are said to be the neutral fluxes, like potassium fluoride, calcium fluoride, cryolite, Na3AlF6. These are not having either acidic or basic nature, hence are said to be the neutral fluxes. Similarly, these of all smelting operations are done when metal oxide, otherwise the metal source, is converted to the fused state, that is at high temperature in the furnaces, especially in the blast furnace. Whereas in every furnace, the temperature, higher temperatures are maintained. The interior walls of the furnaces are coated with some bricks, and those are said to be the refractory materials. Refractory material is that material which sustains at high temperature, maintains its solid state, and doesn't becomes any kind of soft. Such kind of materials are said to be the refractory materials. Based on the impurities present in the ore, refractory materials coated furnaces are used. Suppose if it is having acidic impurities, then acidic refractory materials, bricks made up of acidic refractory materials, that is silica, quartz, sand, stone related bricks are used as refractory materials. If it is having basic impurities, then base related properties containing refractory materials like lime, dolomite, magnesite are used. If it is not having any kind of nature for the impurities, neutral nature is there, then neutral refractory materials made up of graphite, chromite, bone ash are generally used. Semi-neutral refractory materials are also present. The best example for this particular category is fire clay. Next is reduction by carbon as well as the carbon monoxides. Whereas due to cheap cost as well as the high availability of the carbon, carbon is taken as good reducing agent, and less electropositive metal oxides are generally reduced by the carbon. For reduction, ore is heated with carbon in the blast furnace. As a result of heating, what happens is some metals present in the liquid state reduced to metal oxide is reduced to metal and are present in the liquid state, which are having higher melting points. Whereas some metals which are having very lower melting points easily converted to the liquid state. Further, by at this high temperature can be present in the vapor state also. These on cooling can be converted to liquid state. Suppose in case of tin, ferrous and the chromium, these particular oxides on reaction with carbon are converted to tin followed by carbon monoxide, ferrous followed by carbon monoxide, chromium followed by carbon monoxide, and this process is said to be the Devil's process. Whereas zinc oxide on reaction with carbon, it is converted to zinc, which is having lower boiling point present in the vapor state. On cooling, it is condenses and will be converted to the zinc of liquid state. Yes, the disadvantages related to the carbon acting as a reducing agent. If it is allowed to react with the more electropositive metal oxides, suppose calcium oxide on reaction with carbon, that is not converted to calcium metal, it is converted to calcium carbide. In the second case, magnesium oxide, that is a reversible reaction, though it converts to magnesium followed by carbon monoxide. At high temperature, it moves in the forward direction, but at low temperature, it comes in the backward direction. Hence, it is a reversible reaction, becomes complicated. Thus, these are the disadvantages when carbon is used as the reducing agent. And carbon monoxide is reducing agent, it is acting as good reducing agent. Even the lead oxides are converted to lead, all varieties of iron related oxides, ferrous oxide, ferric oxide, and mixed oxide of ferrous is also converted to metal, ferrous followed by the carbon dioxide. And from experimental observations, it was found that the best reducing agent out of carbon monoxide and the carbon is carbon monoxide compared to carbon. Carbon monoxide is best reducing agent than carbon below 710 degrees centigrade. Whereas above 710 degrees centigrade, the reducing ability of the carbon increases. That is, carbon is best reducing agent than carbon monoxide above the 17 degrees centigrade. This particular reducing nature and the efficient reducing nature and effect of temperature over the efficiency of the reducing nature will be explained by the Ellingham diagrams. The other reductions after smelting as well as the reduction with the carbon compounds are reduction with hydrogen followed by the water gas and the self-reduction process, hydrometallurgical process, amalgamation process, electrolytic reduction process. These are the process and have a discussion.